Yo, I guess this is the second episode of the Capsule. What's happening, everybody? I am feeling a bit shit because I had the second dose of my vaccine today, but I said I'd record every week, so here we are. I'm now fully vaxxed and I have 5G on my phone, so I'm invited to all of Bill Gates' VIP parties. Yeah, so what's up? Yeah, I don't know. What's on my mind this week is that freelance life is fucking tough. So just to shout out everyone doing freelance life, it's fucking tough, and I hear you and I see you, and it's a struggle, whatever the discipline. Yeah, payments, invoices, clients, all that shit, doing the work, building a reputation, trying to get things right. It is not easy. So just a shout out to everyone, especially in the dance world. It's not easy, and also like it's not as easy to come across like education on how to do it, even though everyone offers each other advice and shit, like maybe behind the scenes, and kind of says what I'm fucking saying right now, which is like, oh, I hear you, life is tough when you're a freelancer. But yeah, it's hard to like actually sit down in a class or sit down with someone and be like, right, how do I do this? How do I do this? Unless you proactively go and search it out, which is basically the whole thing of freelance. You got to be proactive, and yeah, it's fucking tough. That's not really relevant to anything, but it was relevant to my week. So yeah, maybe there's people who feel the same. Anyway, what's happened this week? Oh yeah, so Spins Battle happened this weekend. That was on, I'm not going to go in chronological order. That was in Sunday. Was that Sunday? Yeah, so Spin put on a battle, which I thought was a fucking sick idea. He put on a battle inside a barbershop where I think he works at the Wacky Barbers. He did it along with New Dance TV, and basically New Dance TV, shout out to Owen Ling, sick videographer, director, filmmaker. But basically they live streamed the event. There was no audience in the event because obviously it's small in a barbershop, and they had 8 invites, no like prelims or anything, streamed the whole thing online, and yeah, it looked sick. I really like it. I think it was born from an idea that they had, I want to say during lockdown, or at least sometime during the pandemic, where they held a battle in, I want to say in like someone's room or something like that, or I can't remember exactly where it was. But yeah, it was like a really small room that they did it during the pandemic, obviously because we couldn't get out to any big venues or whatever. It might have been someone's bedroom or I forget. But so then now that we are allowed a bit more out, they did this battle in the barbershop. They had the 3 judges, they had the cameraman, they had the DJ. Yeah, I think it's a sick idea. I think the idea being that it kind of tests the breaker to see what their control is like, to be able to keep rounds in a small space. I think that's always been a part of competitive breaking from when I remember going to Throwdown and watching battles like 10, 12 years ago at least. And that was like one of the things I learned of, like, I guess in a battle you don't really want to, if a breaker is doing something and they get near the edge and you make the audience kind of like lean back away from like they're scared to get hit, it's like it doesn't look good. You kind of want the people watching to feel like you're in control, I guess. I don't know how much the judges like take that in consideration, but I think as a dancer that's probably something, I mean in all styles, I think it's something you don't want to feel out of control or not know where you are in the space. They're all mad important things. So yeah, for Spin's event to like kind of really highlight that, I think was super cool. The level of the invites was dope. They were all sick. Yeah, I think the finals was interesting as well. They had a 5-round battle for the finals. And it was a guy called Lightfoot against a guy called Razzle Rock. Lightfoot is from, I want to say, his crew is Shepherd Gang, it says on his Insta. And then Razzle Rock is from Smack 19. So they had 5-round battle, and they had £50 prize money per round, and each round was judged individually, which Spin said on the mic, basically like you something to the effect that of you see like how much you earn, how much you're worth, or your prize is how much you're worth. So even if you win 2 out of 5 rounds, you lost, but you still get 100 quid because you still won 2 rounds, which I think is sick, because it's kind of shit when you get all the way to the finals of a battle, especially if you're doing 5 rounds as a b-boy and you win, let's say 2 out of the 5 and don't win the battle, and then it's like, cool, what have you done? Like, you've made the event sick because you killed it all the way up to the finals. Even in the finals, that could have been close as shit, and you just walk away with nothing. So I think this model of pay per rounds and stuff, obviously, like, it takes funding to do that. And I think Silverback, I was talking about it with Sunny on the podcast, but like, I think Silverback in the States did that, like, from the prelims, even like the tops, however many that qualified, or something like that, got paid, and then you get paid per round as you go up. I think it makes sense, because it's like, it encourages you to work hard. It encourages like a higher level of people to enter, because if you're like a high earning dancer and you're like, oh, am I going to go to this battle? Yes, if you're a competitive person, you want to do that. But if you're like, well, what am I getting from it? If I don't win, what if there's another person that's on your level, but you're both like high earning professional dancers, and you're like, am I going to do like an 8-hour day to not win and get nothing? You know, it's a bit shit. And yes, you can use it as promotion, and yes, you can make contacts through battles. You can use the footage. Like, there's a lot you can get out of battles if you're smart. But at the end of the day, some of us get to a point where like, I just need to get paid for what I'm doing. So if it encourages higher level dancers to come, which in turn encourages the audience to watch. Do you know what I mean? Like, if there's better people that are entering this battle every single year, it becomes known as a higher level battle. That happens because they're not wasting their time. They're getting paid every single round. And sometimes the first round of a battle can be fire, and the one that goes viral and that everyone remembers. It doesn't have to always be just the finals, and those are the only people, like the person that wins is the only person that deserves, in air quotes, to get paid, you know? Sorry. Yeah, so that's it. Like, I think it was sick. As far as I can tell, it went off pretty well. Didn't seem to be any major glitches on the live stream, which is always dope. Really well directed and filmed. Yeah, like I said, Owen knows what he's doing. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think this is sick, because I think there's a lot of stuff that we learned in the pandemic, like, to be more resourceful, or there's things that we can find ways around, even like online dance battles, which I hate personally. I don't want to enter them, but I think it's cool, because it's like, all right, we found a way to like keep this thing alive and keep pushing with it. So to see something that's like was born out of the pandemic and has continued and grown and has potential to do more shit is sick, because this has potential. This, for me, has commercial potential, which is in a way like the almost the secret to sustainability is it's not sustainable if it's just us attending the event over and over and over. It's like, you need the outside public to come in and see the shit and to pay money, and for it to have sponsorship opportunities and stuff like that, because we're not the demographic that are paying. And like, if a Nike sponsor an event, dancers aren't the ones that are rushing out and spending millions of pounds. It's the general public. And yes, sometimes we're part of the general public, but you get my point. Spin's battle, I think, because it's able to be held in this small space, this has commercial potential, in the sense of like, a venue could hire Spin and New Dance even to put on this event. Like, it doesn't need that many people to run the whole thing. You can have the invites, you can pay them per round. It's not that, relatively not that expensive to put on. So I think Spin, I don't know what his plans are. He could package this to sell out to brands and stuff, or to venues or to events. Even this could be like a little feature of, I don't know, even in festivals or something, you know, if it shows that it can work in this small of a space, and it's that breaking is fucking exciting anyway, let alone if you pack it into a small space and live stream it. Yeah, I think it's sick. Anywho's, what else went on in the world? Dancers Delight under 18. I think that's cool. Harry from the Wirral, not from Liverpool, I've been told, had a group there. I know Mr. YouTube and the guys that he works with, I think they're called Lighthouse. They had a set there on the Saturday. It was a 2-day event. I think this is like a good thing for the scene to have, I guess, the under 18s showcase thing, because it's somewhere that they can, it's, you know, like when you have dance schools, like little dance schools, maybe out in the countryside or whatever, or just these kind of little, I don't know, like jazz schools or something. What they usually do is they have a showcase every year. So these parents pay the money and they send their kids to these jazz classes or tap class or whatever it is. And then every year it's like, oh, here's some pieces from each class to see what they've been working on. So what have you been paying for all year? It's for your kid to do this thing. And all the parents are like, oh, amazing. And all the kids feel like they get to perform. Cool, great. I think this is kind of like a slightly elevated version of that, where it's a chance. And I kind of see that as Dancers Delight for the adults even. It's kind of like, it's not really trying to be a showcase for the general public. You know, it's like, here's what we've been doing all year kind of thing. And like, here's a little show of like what everyone does, whether it's Boy Blue or Definitives or whatever. It's like, all right, we've been working on our shit, we've been out there doing our thing, and we kind of all come together and perform our things. And you know, whether you want to do that or not is up to you. It's not really like a job, it's like you will volunteer to do it. So yeah, I think it makes even more sense for the under 18s, where they might not get chances to perform and they might not get put on these big stages. So to have their own platform for that, I think is cool. Yeah, I think there's you know, if there was funding in these things to you know, support everyone financially, I think that would also be sick. But you know, it is what it is. And sometimes we do stuff in a community way and we volunteer and we kind of all come together to watch each other and check out the stuff, you know. So in that way, it's pretty cool. What else happened? Oh, there was this video by Mr. Kriss that was sick. If you don't know Mr. Kriss, I can't give you too much information on him because I don't know the guy too well, but he's super nice. He's a b-boy, I guess, although maybe he's done like contemporary and stuff like that. He seems like he's not strictly a b-boy. He was at BC1 UK this year. Really creative, really flexible breaker. He's got some great ideas, but he did this video. I'm going to play it because it's one of the only videos that can't get taken down for copyright. And yeah, because it's only like 30 seconds as well. So if you're on the audio, then sorry. But yeah, so this is the video. Boom. So this was by Jacob Sutton Studio, and yeah, Mr. Kriss was the featured dancer. My first watch, I thought that it was real that he was doing all the bouncing, and I was like, how the fuck did they time all that? On the second watch, I thought, this must be some, not CGI, but do you know what I mean, like visual effects. Especially when I saw the ping pong ball bouncing at that speed, I was like, oh yeah, okay, cool. But the first time I was like, that's a bit mad. So I think the visual effects are really cool. This is how I love visual effects, where it's like, it's not over the top, like it's not a fucking Marvel movie. Do you know what I mean? Like, I love Marvel, but it's like done for a reason to just keep the balls bouncing, so that the track can make sense, I guess. Because I think the track is really cool. They've just taken samples of like balls bouncing, and they've made it into a beat. But yeah, I'm assuming they've made this visual with visual effects to match that, so that there's a visual to the balls bouncing alongside this cool track. And then they've got Kriss to dance on it, which is cool. Like, I love, the whole video is like 36 seconds, I think. I haven't seen a longer version, so maybe there's a longer version, but I don't think so. I love that it's like snappy to the point. It doesn't need to be a half an hour thing. I think we often think about Instagram and all these social platforms as like, because they're making we're consuming things that are shorter and shorter, TikTok and all that shit, where it's like, we're creating for these platforms, so we're creating shorter stuff, and sometimes that's bad. And yes, it's nice to like watch an hour-long piece. That still happens, but some of the pieces we're like, oh, we have to make it 1 minute so it fits on Insta or whatever. Sometimes that's not a bad thing. Like, it's like, okay, we want to make a 30-second video. How can we make this sharp, snappy, interesting, eye-catching? And yeah, Kriss is dope. Like, he complements it really well. He's a really good artist, I think. Yeah, he's dope. The video's sick. Not really much to say up besides that. It's just really cool. You can check it out on his platform. It's on Insta. It's Mr.Kriss or at Jacob Sutton _studio. Yeah, good shit. Just sometimes we like good shit. What else is there to say? Hey, it's another song. Probably not gonna get one of these each week. East London Dance hired a couple of new people, so that's cool. Kate Scanlon and Tia Hassan have been jointly appointed as our new creative director and chief executive. Tia and Kate bring a wealth of experience to the role and will be starting on the 4th of October. If you don't know Kate Scanlon, she's run a lot of events in the street dance scene. You should definitely check out her page, Scanners Inc. on Instagram. And East London Dance are also a cool organization. They do a lot of things in the street dance scene and have done loads over the years. They've worked with artists, they've put on events, they've put on like different opportunities for dancers. So if you're a dancer, I would definitely check out East London Dance if you're looking for kind of organizations that support dancers for various things. I think we don't talk publicly enough about these organizations, maybe, or at least maybe it's in certain scenes, like in the like hip hop theater scene, in air quotes. People talk more about these organizations and where you can get funding and where you can get support and stuff like that, but then not really in the battle scene or other places. So there's a list of organizations that can help with shit that you want to do, whether that's put on an event, whether that's build a piece, whether that's do a solo, like the Arts Council. If you don't know about the Arts Council, start there. They give money to people in the shortest way possible. Like, you can apply for grants for various different things, and you have to know what you're doing to get the money. They don't just hand it out to anyone, you have to do lengthy applications, and you have to write well and know what your project is really about and the longevity of it and the sustainability of it. But yeah, there's, we're used to doing what we can with nothing, but there's money out there for people. So yeah, look into that. Last thing probably is that Vanessa won BC1 Portugal. That's super dope. So that means she's going to Poland for the World Finals on November 6th. And she will join big ol' Stephanie. who won in the UK for the breakin, for the B girls in the, obviously it's breakin, it's BC1. So yeah, congrats Vanessa. I'm a big fan of Vanessa. She's a good friend of mine. She's dope. And she's been on the podcast as well, so check that episode out if you haven't seen it. It's probably a bit dated now. It was like last year. Yeah, I don't know what their chances are in Poland. I haven't seen who else qualified, or even if I had, I don't know that I'd know too much about them, but I'll try and get the scoop on who else is there and whether they're any good. But yeah, Vanessa's a fucking hustler. She's always, just from having conversations with her, she's always working hard on different stuff. She always makes me want to work harder on my stuff because she's got a good mentality with that stuff. If you haven't seen her Tiny Room Workouts page, check it out. Again, another thing that started from the pandemic and people are keeping it on and trying to elevate it. It was a workout from home kind of thing. I guess the concept is if you've got a tiny room, you can work out in it, and she teaches you how to do the workout. Now she's got whole packages with all sorts of different shit that you can get. It's on Patreon now, I think, so you can subscribe. This isn't a paid advert. I just think it's dope what she's doing. And again, like I think it's dope. People that discovered some shit in the pandemic and realized that there's opportunity in that and kept pushing it. So shout out to Vanessa. Shout out to Tiny Room Workouts. Yeah, that's some dope shit. I could probably do with working out. But that's another story for another podcast. I eat too much. And so, yeah, I think that's kind of it for now. I'm trying to keep these short and sweet and maybe stop singing through them. So the song for today, because we're doing a song every week, is by a guy called Creator. He spells his name, instead of the O, there's an X. Creator. Creator. Super dope beat maker. Anyway, this is his track called Passion. Thanks everyone for listening. Check out the Capsule at thecapsule.london, the Capsule on YouTube, the Duke London podcast. Plenty more to come, and we will see you next week.
I